I'm Dr. Aris Thorne, and I've been tracking the lions of these plains for 20 years. That young male, he's a nomad, new to this territory. And he's just learned the first brutal lesson of survival. He won't make it. Not alone. Not with a wound that's septic. That gash, it's from a warthog. He got careless or desperate, and the prey fought back. It's a common story out here, and it almost always ends the same way. A single mistake, a single fresh scar, becomes a death sentence. My job is to observe, to document, to not interfere. But after 2 decades, you'll learn that every rule has an exception. And you learn that every survivor has a history. I've spent my life reading the histories that are written on these animals. You see, a lion's hide is a map of its life, a living document, etched in claw and fang. Most are short stories. A tear from a thorn bush, a scratch from a sibling. Some are epics. And he is the titan of this place. We call him the veteran. His real name, the one in our database, is T12. But no one calls him that. He has earned his title. He is a 12-year-old male in a world where most don't see 8. That young, injured male, he's a question mark. The veteran. He is the answer. He is a living chronicle of everything this land can throw at a lion, and what it takes to throw it back. His body is a library of survival, and I've spent the last decade trying to decipher it. To understand him, you can't just look at him. You have to read him. You have to lure to reeve the scars. And his story begins with the small details. You start with the muzzle. It's cross-hatched with dozens of fine, white lines, almost like surgical stitching. These are not battle scars. There are life lessons. They're the price of admission. A porcupine quill that was pulled out. A claw from a sibling during a squabble over a scrap of meat. A misjudged lunge at a snarling warthog, much like the one that just crippled our young nomad. The veteran learned his lesson. The nomad did not. This is the first part of the ledger. Pain teaches. Early, survivable pain teaches lessons that last a lifetime. But then, you move down the flank. And you see the second entry. This one is different. It's not a tear. It's a puncture. It's a perfect circle, the diameter of a buffalo's horn. This is the scar that tells me he is not just skilled. He is lucky. A lion's primary prey is also one of its greatest threats. I wasn't there for this one, but the scar tells the story. He would have been on the hindquarters, a textbook takedown. The buffalo, a ton of muscle and fury, must have spun and connected. It was a killing blow. I just missed. A few inches to the left, it would have collapsed his lung. A few inches higher, it would have severed his spine. Instead, it just punched through. He would have been out of commission for weeks. Unable to hunt. Vulnerable. But he was part of a strong pride then. His coalition partners, his brothers, would have hunted for him. This is the intersection of biology and social structure. His strength bought him loyalty, and that loyalty saved his life. It's a lesson in commensalism, a social contract. He was valuable enough to the collective to be worth the cost of his recovery. A wound that would kill a lone nomad was, for him, just another chapter. But this is his crown. This is the one that nearly ended his reign. This is the one that I did see. It was 7 years ago. He was in his prime. He and his two brothers, a formidable coalition, were pushing north into new territory. And this new territory was already claimed. What we were about to witness wasn't just a fight. It was a war for a dynasty. The biological imperative of infanticide, of erasing one bloodline to begin your own. The resident males were older, but they were experienced. And there were 3 of them. The confrontation happened at dusk, in the riverbed. 6 prime males. 1,000 pounds of muscle and rage colliding. It was chaos. We couldn't even track individuals. Just a whirlwind of claws and teeth. This isn't a noble fight. It is not clean. It is a desperate, brutal, screaming match to see who gets to pass on their genes. And who will be erased from the future. The veteran was losing. We found him at dawn, long after the battle had ended. His coalition had won. The old males were gone. But the cost. The cost was staggering. He was sitting alone by the water, and his entire face was a mask of blood. A claw had raked from his temple, shattering the orbital bone and tearing his lip from the gum. He shouldn't have been able to see, let alone walk. His brother was dead, 20 yards away. He had won the kingdom. but he had paid for it in flesh and blood. That wound should have been the end. Infection. Inability to hunt. But he just refused. He is a testament to a biological resilience that I still cannot fully comprehend. He vanished for a month. When he reappeared, he was a skeleton. But he was alive. And that scar, it was already healing. That scar is not a mark of weakness. It is a proclamation. I have faced the worst this world has, and I am still the king. That scar, the one that cost him his eye, is the final entry in his ledger. It cemented his dynasty. He held his territory for 5 more years, siring cubs that carry his legacy. He paid in flesh and bought immortality in genes. When I look at him now, an old king, scarred and moving with a stiff-legged grace, I see the entire history of this place. The porcupine quills, the buffalo horn, the rival's claw. They are the text. And my job as a scientist is to be the chronicler, to read this violent, beautiful ledger and understand what it costs to be a lion. It puts that young nomad we saw at the beginning. The one with the fresh warthog gash. Point into brutal perspective. The veteran is the 1%. He is the exception. Most lives out here are not epics. They are short stories. They are a single, fatal scar that ends the tale before it's truly begun. We did intervene. We made the call. The vet team was here in 3 hours. We darted him, cleaned the wound, gave him a massive dose of antibiotics. A simple act, really. It's a decision I wrestle with. We broke the first rule of observation. But this is the reality of modern conservation. We are no longer just chroniclers. We cannot be. We are now guardians of the ledger itself. The veteran's scars were written by the laws of nature, but the threats his descendants face, poison, snares, habitat loss, those scars are written by us. My field notes, once just a record of behavior, are now an active balance sheet. We track these individuals, read their histories, and measure their resilience. So we know exactly what is at stake. We are fighting to ensure the ledger of the lion. This entire magnificent species doesn't just end. The veteran's story is one of ultimate survival. But he can't fight this new war alone. This single intervention for the young nomad was a victory. But his species' larger battle, the one against snares, habitat loss, and human conflict, continues every single day. The work of the Lion Conservation Trust is what makes these interventions possible. It funds the rangers, the vet teams, and the research you saw today. To support our work, or to get exclusive field notes from my 20 years with these prides, join our mission at the link below. Become a guardian of the ledger.